Welcome to the Love Government. I'm Dennis Leary. We are presenting a series of videos on the sex cards. And the sex cards are here, and they're part of the Love Government system, which is explained in other places such as the website and the book that's there, and it's encapsulated here in a model, which is the house of cards here, because as we're playing a card game as we go, we're telling a story and we're developing a relationship with the lover, who is all of us as lovers. We're now at the 19th card in this series of 52, and it's called Mind. The mind is a space in ourselves. The mind is the fifth space in the Suda space, so we call it the 5 of space in the card game. And we've gone through the other spaces such as the body, the emotions, the fantasy, the dream, and now we come to a very powerful part of ourself, which is our mind. And that is represented here by this card in Tarot. The love card system is called the Wheel of Fortune, is the mind. And the mind is a circular mind, or a feminine-based mind from the love culture, which moves in circles, spirals, waves, and this type of lemniscate motion, as opposed to linearity. And the mind spins two ways. Positive spin is to have a kind mind. The negative spin is to have a blind mind. Let's look a little more closely at this card then. This is a love card. It represents to ourselves what's going on in us and in our culture. It's like a mirror, a work of art. Somebody composed these over 100 years ago. It was her work of art. And now we get to enjoy that. So we notice here with this card that has a circle, it's basically a circle, it's representing the mind. And there are 3 divisions, there are 3 concentric circles in this picture. The middle circle, the very essence of it is, it's all about love by the way, but the very essence is called the lovesciousness. Lovescious or lovesciousness. It's a lovely word. It's a delicious, nutritious type of word, lovescious. It's the very essence, the substrate of reality. That's why we say everything rests on love. Love makes the world spin, go around. Then the second level, the middle level there, is the unconscious. That is represented by the snake on the left side of the card. The snake goes underground, and snake is a symbol of the unconscious because it lives underground most of the time, and it comes up, and it's kind of like psychic or mystical. The inner the lovescious level is represented by the Sphinx at the top of the circle, and that's a feminine Sphinx, and she's holding the male sword in her hand. The third level, which is we're most familiar with, and that's the conscious level. The conscious level is the outside. The middle level is the unconscious. The core of it is the lovesciousness. And you can reverse the metaphor where the outside and the inside are reversed. Now this mind that we have spins 2 ways. If it spins to the right, it's called tarot, or tarot. T-A-R-O. You can read that on that outer circle. T-A-R-O, going to the right. That's the law of love. That's the more positive. The negative spin is Torah. That's the law of patriarchy. Torah comes from the Bible, but it's any Bible or constitutional text, or really practically all the writings of his history, are patriarchal from his point of view, and it's about the Torah. Not just a religious sense, but about the law of power. Power rules. Power uses money, it uses sex, it uses advertising, it uses lying, lie, lie, lie. It's the iron fist in the velvet pyramid, the black-hearted spade here. And it opposes and it tries to kill off this type of operation system. This is the love culture because it operates on a totally different way. And it's a big threat. If it was totally implemented, that pyramid system would just collapse. So we don't want that to happen, so we do it very gently and very lovingly, gradually influencing, gradually reforming it until it becomes a love system also. So that third level, called the conscious level, is represented by that red figure called a jackal. At least it has the head of a jackal, which is a carnivorous dog, and the body of a human being. It's kind of a monstrosity. So what we have today in our culture of anti-love is we're creating a monstrosity of things because we're confused. We're mixing things together that never were intended to be mixed like that. And the jackal is representing that. The head of a dog and the body of a human is a monstrosity. Now, one example of that is our relationships to animals. In the love culture, in the Garden of Eden setting, the wild animals, the free animals were all around us, and we were interacting with them. They would come and visit. They were curious about each other, but we did not make them pets. We did not domesticate them at the beginning, when things were where they should be. That came later under patriarchal elements. We were free with each other, and there was a mutual respect. Because we had the love aura around us, the animals, and we were new on the scene, so we were not subject to, as other prey were in the carnivorous system. We were protected by the whole system. That system was blown to smithereens by the gradual imposition of patriarchy, which began to enslave those animals by killing them first with a stick or with your fist, with smaller animals. We killed the animals in order to, now we're talking about patriarchal men who did this, in order to bulk up their power. Because that's a blood thing, that's a bloodlust thing. To shed blood by killing animals mimics the woman's shedding blood monthly with her menstruation, in which she nourishes the earth or makes a baby. Men were jealous of that power, and the way they overcame it was by creating a different type of power, which is based on killing, starting with the killing of animals. First it started with the fist or the club, then it went to a spear, then it went to a bow and arrow, and then it goes to guns and rifles and bombs and drones and bang, 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 killing. So men, patriarchal men, became killers rather than lovers. And that is what we have today. Believe it or not. Because it's hard to believe, because it's glossed over with layers upon layers upon layers of lies. But when you strip away all those lies, you came to a very basic thing, which is you can be a lover, or you can be a liar and a killer. And remember, it's all disguised. It's this type of a pyramid versus this kind of a pyramid. And it's not easy to look at. It's not easy to take. That's why the denial systems snap into place as soon as you bring something like this up. People, as a rule, don't want to hear about this because it's too painful. It's too threatening. It's too threatening. But it has to be said by somebody, because it's the truth. And the truth will set us free if we want to go that way. And most people do not want to go that way. Most people are very comfortable with this pyramid system, even though they may be miserable. As the poet said, when you get to the top of the pyramid, you find out you're at the bottom. So even the very rich people who have all that money could buy, when they come to die, they're going to be died. The chances are they'll die just as miserable as the person at the bottom. They'll die in a fancy hospital with all the best care that money can buy medically. But if they're not in love, they'll die miserably, and there is no escape hatch. Contrary to the beliefs of patriarchy, they say you don't have to love the earth. Basically what's going on. You don't have to love this because you're going up there to heaven, and you will be rewarded for serving your master, the authority that you serve, whether it be God or money or power or whatever. But that's the big lie. But it enables the system to work. So you tell people the big lie that don't worry about it, you're going to heaven anyway. Don't worry about screwing up the earth or screwing up your own life or causing suffering and murder and war and everything else that goes with it, because it doesn't count. You're going to a different place, and that's the big lie. Whether it's told in warlike terms or, heaven for being a good warrior, you go to heaven. And to bring it back to the mind, if the mind is kind, in the kind of love we're talking about, the mind recognizes that. At the four corners of this card, just in closing, are the four evangelists again, the four men writers, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, representing the man, the eagle, the lion, and the ox. This card brings out that men are important to the operation of the love system. In this sense, they're writing about it, they're talking about it, they're supporting it, not turning against it and trying to kill it, either by omission or commission. See, most of the silent majority, and I include myself in that, are apathetic. We don't know what to do. We're confused. Our brains have been snatched, largely, and so we sit there, we don't know what to do, and we can't do anything, and that is the sin of omission. We're not doing anything, and then we think we're going to go to heaven and be rewarded for screwing up the earth. It's unreasonable to expect that. It's a lie. It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy. And someday, I believe, this is my belief, I can't say I'm right, but I think that I'm on the right track. We're going to have a rude awakening when we leave this body and we find that the next life is not that different from this life. In fact, we're not going anywhere. If we've left a mess here, we're going to be around again and again to clean it up. So we may as well clean it up now. So we thank you for participating in this process, because this is a cleaning up process. We're bringing up stuff that's very hard to look at, very hard to accept, goes against the culture. But if we are going to be true lovers, we've got to do it. So thanks for doing it. And we give you a blessing or a sending, a sharing of love. Thank you very much.